want to start with the peak performance aging, because it's like when you get into the science of aging, every now and then you stumble on these facts that you're just like, holy crap, that like just mind blowing. And one of them is that openness to experience directly, like when it declines, and this isn't true of any of the other big 5 personality traits, openness to experience is the only one that's correlated with cognitive decline and memory. And the minute your openness to experience closes down, cognitive decline onset is usually within a year, and mortality follows fairly quickly afterwards, which is sort of wild. So I think, so here's a question off of this, and as an answer to Rian's question, how much, when I think about the preparation, you know, the lines, the improv happens often inside the thing that you've done 100 times. You practice the thing 100 times, you're still going to do that, but you're going to freestyle off of that. And I often think, the line between, like, I see it sometimes with thought leaders who are like, you know, I just stop preparing my speeches, I just go in and talk. And I'm like, this, to me, it's the rudest, most thing you could do. I'm like, that's a narcissist. That's a narcissist there who's prioritizing how they feel on the inside over the audience's experience. Performers, it seems to me, and professionals freestyle inside the lines, not outside the lines. It tends to also be really flowy if you get it right.
Yeah, I think so. The challenge, you'd asked about audiences. What's actually interesting is I noticed there's a huge difference between socioeconomic classes and cultures and what they laugh at. Huge. So if I'm in New York and there are a bunch of white, wealthy professionals in their 30s and 40s and 50s, it's very interesting because there are a lot of things going on. Number one, they've already arrived at their conclusions because, hey, their conclusions have worked for them. So they're not so willing to be shaken up. And if they are, they resist quickly. They get quiet and polite. They tend to laugh and then they stop, and you've got to get their next laugh. There's no rolling. There's no letting go. There's no getting swept up in the moment, right? They never forget that they've got to get home at a certain hour. They never forget that they've got a whole bunch of other human things to do. Then you go down to Miami, you go down to Fort Lauderdale, and the audience is mostly Latin, mostly Italian, mostly kind of, they live in their heart, they live in their belly, they live in their spirit. There's just something more. They dance from their hips. You ever watch people from Connecticut dance? They look like they're made of because when their shoulders are moving. And then you get into sort of like below the equator in South America, and everything's happening somewhere else, man. And they allow themselves they allow it to take themselves over. They get enraptured in the spirit of the thing. And then the laughter starts to roll. And that's when you don't have to worry about anything, man, because you're skiing, you're swimming with the whole thing. And it's just it's almost like this beautiful sort of like movement. We're all jiving together, we're dancing together. It's really cool. And that makes it much easier to get into flow.
But one thing I know for sure, every now and again, you'll end up on a stage I'll end up on a stage where you can't see the audience at all. The lights are in such a way that you're just blind. For me to get into flow, and I wear glasses to drive, so my distance vision isn't great, but I always have to find 1 or 2 or 3 people in the audience to watch. I can't watch the whole audience, but I choose the handful of people. That's my immediate feedback. You can't steer an audience, you can't get into flow, you can't do any of that without immediate feedback. And it's hard. I can't look at a whole room. I don't know if you can do that. I can't look at a whole room and do that. I usually end up picking like 3 to 5 people and sort of like go from them to them to like take temperature and how am I doing and, that sort of thing.